Tonight, America is mourning. We didn't just lose a star, we lost a legend, a piece of history.
The news arrived quietly, almost like a whisper carried through the corridors of memory. Reports confirmed that Valerie Perrine, a performer once described as both fearless and fragile on screen, had passed away. In living rooms and across social media, many paused in disbelief. How does a presence so vivid begin to feel like history? For some, her name instantly recalled a certain era. A time when cinema was changing, when stories grew braver and characters more complex. Valerie Perrine stepped into that world with a kind of honesty that could not be easily ignored. Yet behind the bright lights and flashing cameras, questions lingered about the strength it must have taken to remain so open. She first captured wide attention with her portrayal of Honey Bruce. It was a role filled with emotional weight, shaped by real-life pain and resilience. Viewers saw more than performance. They saw a woman navigating loss, love, and uncertainty. Critics later said she did not act the role, she lived it. That moment became a turning point, both for her career and for the audience's understanding of vulnerability in film. Those who worked with her often remembered the quiet intensity she carried between takes. One former co-star once shared, "Valerie had a way of making every scene feel personal. You could feel her truth." Such reflections offered a glimpse into a performer who believed deeply in storytelling as an emotional exchange. Her rise came during a period when Hollywood itself was finding new courage. Glamour still existed, but audiences were asking for more authenticity. Valerie's screen presence balanced both. She could appear radiant in one frame and heartbreakingly human in the next. This contrast became her signature, drawing viewers into characters who felt real and unpredictable. As her filmography expanded, so did the curiosity surrounding her journey. How did she maintain such emotional depth? How did she continue to reveal new layers of herself through each role? Friends later suggested that her strength came from observing life closely. She noticed small details, a nervous glance, a hopeful smile, the silence after disappointment. These observations quietly shaped her performances. In public appearances, she often seemed reflective rather than celebratory. Fame brought admiration but also scrutiny. Still, she handled attention with grace, choosing moments of sincerity over spectacle. A family member once said, "She never chased applause. She chased meaning." It was a simple sentence, yet it echoed the purpose that guided her career. There were also periods of challenge. The industry changed, trends shifted, and opportunities became less certain. Yet Valerie's connection with audiences never fully faded. Film festivals and retrospectives would occasionally reintroduce her work to younger viewers. Many discovered her performances as if uncovering a hidden treasure from another time. Fans responded with warmth and gratitude. One tribute posted online read, "Her characters made me feel understood when I was lost." Such words revealed a quiet truth about her legacy. She was not only admired, she was felt. Through the emotional honesty she offered, strangers found pieces of their own stories reflected back at them. In later years, she spoke less about awards or recognition. Instead, she reflected on collaboration and trust. She once mentioned in an interview that acting taught her how fragile and beautiful human connection could be. These thoughts now feel like gentle messages left behind for those who continue to watch her films. As news of her passing spread, conversations returned to that defining courage she showed on screen. The willingness to reveal uncertainty, to portray flawed yet hopeful individuals, remains rare even today. Valerie Perrine helped shape a cinematic language where emotional truth mattered as much as visual beauty. Her legacy now lives in the quiet moments she created. A trembling voice in a dramatic scene. A soft smile that hinted at hidden sorrow. These memories continue to travel across generations, reminding viewers that fearless storytelling often begins with simple human honesty. Though her journey has reached its final chapter, the influence of her work moves forward like an unfinished conversation. Somewhere, a young actor may watch one of her performances and feel inspired to take similar risks. Somewhere else, a viewer may find comfort in the sincerity she once offered. And in that ongoing exchange between art and emotion, Valerie Perrine's presence still lingers, graceful and unforgettable. The confirmation came in the early hours, carried quietly across entertainment headlines and fan communities. Nicholas Brendon, a familiar face from a defining era of television, was gone. For many who grew up watching him, the news felt deeply personal. How could someone who once brought so much laughter now leave behind such a heavy silence? In the late 1990s, living rooms around the world filled with stories of friendship, danger, and growing up. Within those stories, Nicholas Brendon stood out not as the strongest hero, but as the most human one. His portrayal of a loyal friend gave audiences someone to recognize in their own lives. Yet behind the humor and awkward charm, questions remained about the real journey he was quietly living. On set, he was known for lightening the mood between intense scenes. Crew members often remembered his quick jokes and easy smiles. One producer later reflected, "Nicholas had a natural warmth. You could feel it the moment he walked into a room." That warmth soon became part of his on-screen identity, shaping a character who felt genuine rather than distant. His rise to recognition did not happen overnight. Early auditions brought uncertainty and rejection. Still, he continued showing up, believing that sincerity could be stronger than perfection. When his breakthrough finally arrived, it felt less like sudden fame and more like a long-awaited introduction. Fans connected with his portrayal of vulnerability. In moments when other characters showed confidence or power, his performances revealed doubt and emotional honesty. Viewers saw someone who struggled, who worried, who still chose loyalty. This balance quietly redefined what strength could look like on television. As the series gained global attention, public admiration followed. Conventions and fan gatherings became spaces where Nicholas listened as much as he spoke. A longtime admirer once shared during a tribute panel, "He made us feel seen. He never acted like he was above anyone." These small interactions built a bond that went far beyond scripted dialogue. Yet fame also brought challenges that were harder to face in the spotlight. Personal struggles occasionally surfaced in headlines, adding layers of complexity to his public image. Those close to him often described a man searching for stability while carrying the expectations of millions. The contrast between beloved character and private battles created a quiet tension that few fully understood. Through difficult periods, he continued to return to the community that supported him. Interviews revealed moments of reflection rather than denial. He spoke about growth, about learning to forgive himself, and about finding meaning in connection. His honesty allowed fans to witness not just an actor's journey, but a human one unfolding in real time. There were also unexpected moments of calm. Years after his most famous role, he appeared at smaller events, greeting audiences with the same familiar humor. Archive footage shows him signing autographs slowly, making eye contact, asking about people's lives. One fellow actor later remembered, "Nicholas never rushed past anyone. He treated every fan like an old friend." These gestures, though simple, became lasting memories. Online tributes soon filled with stories of kindness and resilience. One message read, "He taught me that being imperfect does not mean being unworthy." Such reflections revealed how deeply his presence had shaped personal lives beyond the screen. As television itself evolved, his performances remained tied to a specific cultural moment. The era of late 1990s storytelling valued heart as much as spectacle. Nicholas Brendon helped give that era its emotional rhythm. Through laughter, fear, and loyalty, he showed audiences that friendship could be a powerful form of heroism. In later interviews, he spoke more openly about gratitude. He acknowledged both success and struggle as parts of the same journey. This perspective added new depth to the legacy he was building. He was no longer only remembered for a character, but for the courage to continue despite uncertainty. Now, with news of his passing settling into quiet acceptance, viewers returned to those familiar episodes with different eyes. Scenes once filled with humor carry softer echoes of nostalgia. A smile shared on screen becomes a reminder of time itself moving forward. His influence continues in subtle ways. Younger performers cite his work when discussing emotional authenticity. Fans still gather online to revisit favorite moments, keeping conversations alive. In that shared remembrance, Nicholas Brendon's story does not feel fully finished. Though his voice has grown silent, the connection he formed with audiences remains gently present. Somewhere, a late-night rerun may introduce him to someone discovering that era for the first time. And as the screen glows in a darkened room, a quiet question lingers: how many hearts did he truly reach, and how far will that impact continue to travel? The confirmation came with a quiet sense of disbelief. News spread that Chuck Norris, the warrior whose presence once defined strength for an entire generation, had passed away. For many, it felt as if a symbol of endurance itself had grown suddenly fragile. How does a figure who seemed larger than life become part of memory? Long before cinematic fame, his journey began in discipline and uncertainty. Military service shaped his early years, teaching him structure and inner focus. Those who knew him during that time often described a man who spoke little but observed everything. One former colleague later shared, "He was calm even in pressure. You could sense he was preparing for something greater." Martial arts soon became more than a skill. It became a path. Training halls echoed with the sounds of effort and quiet determination. Hours turned into years as he refined both physical strength and mental resilience. His championship victories did not arrive easily, yet each triumph added another layer to his growing legend. Audiences would later see this discipline reflected on screen. When he stepped into action roles, there was an authenticity that felt different from performance alone. Movements were precise, expressions controlled, and moments of silence carried emotional weight. Viewers began to associate his presence with unwavering courage. The rise of his film career coincided with a global fascination with heroes who stood alone against impossible odds. His characters often faced danger with steady confidence rather than dramatic intensity. This subtle approach made his victories feel earned. A film critic once noted, "He did not just fight villains. He fought doubt itself." Yet beyond the explosive scenes and dramatic showdowns, there was a quieter philosophy guiding him. Interviews revealed a thoughtful side rarely highlighted in action sequences. He spoke about self-discipline as a lifelong practice, not a temporary challenge. Fans listening closely discovered lessons hidden within stories of punches and perseverance. At public events, he often carried himself with humility. Applause followed him, but he responded with measured gratitude. One longtime fan recalled meeting him after a screening and said, "He shook my hand like we were equals. That moment stayed with me." Such encounters built an emotional bridge between hero and admirer. Over time, his cultural presence evolved in unexpected ways. Stories about his strength turned into playful humor, shared widely across generations. What might have once felt like exaggeration became part of a collective tribute. The laughter did not diminish respect. Instead, it showed how deeply he had entered popular imagination. Still, behind the humor remained a genuine admiration for his achievements. His dedication to fitness and personal growth inspired countless individuals to pursue healthier lives. Training centers displayed his images as symbols of persistence. Young martial artists often spoke of discovering confidence through his example. Friends and collaborators frequently remembered his focus during filming. While others relaxed between takes, he continued practicing movements with quiet intensity. A fellow actor once reflected, "Chuck treated every scene like a real test. He never allowed himself to become comfortable." That relentless mindset became central to his enduring appeal. There were also moments of reflection that revealed his human vulnerability. In later interviews, he acknowledged the physical toll of years spent performing demanding roles. Yet he rarely expressed regret. Instead, he spoke about gratitude for the journey and the people who believed in him when success felt distant. As decades passed, his influence extended beyond cinema. Motivational speeches, charitable efforts, and philosophical writings showed a man committed to shaping lives off-screen. His message remained consistent. Strength was not only about winning battles but about mastering oneself. This perspective deepened the meaning of his legacy. When news of his passing reached longtime supporters, many returned to old films with renewed emotion. Scenes once viewed as pure entertainment now carried echoes of inspiration. The steady gaze of his characters felt like a reminder that courage can exist quietly within everyday struggles. Tributes soon appeared across social platforms and news broadcasts. One message simply read, "He taught me to stand firm when life pushed back." Such words captured the essence of his impact more clearly than any box office number or award. Today, his story continues to move forward through those he inspired. Martial arts students repeat his philosophies during training. Filmmakers reference his style when shaping new action heroes. Even in humor, his name remains a symbol of unstoppable determination. Though the warrior has taken his final rest, the legend he built still walks beside countless journeys. Somewhere, a young dreamer may watch one of his films and feel a spark of belief awaken. And in that quiet moment of motivation, a gentle question remains. What new battles will his spirit continue to help others overcome?